All right. Are you guys familiar with the concept of bait and switch? Because if you're not, you're about to. The title doesn't match, as you probably noticed. And that's because I changed my talk last night for the reasons that I'm going to describe in a minute. In moments like this, I like to get inspired by a certain Steve Ballmer. And if some of you still remember, there was a really good meme. Like he went on stage during his reign at Microsoft, was like, developers. And I'm always thinking, I want to have that kind of confidence. And today, I made it a bucket list for me to go and say, SREs. Don't take it personally, but it's going to be great. Don't worry about that. This presentation, like a lot of things in my life, actually started off as a meme. And then, like a lot of other things in my life, I probably took it too far. So be ready for a lot of dinosaurs. But I initially wanted to talk about AIOps, but then it devolved into what you're about to see here. Yeah, so if you close your eyes for 1 second and imagine the primordial soup. You've got the hot water boiling and you've got the DNA flowing and you've got weird things like Perl that look like a cat walked on your keyboard and then nobody deleted that later. You've got Bash and other things like that. And then over the eons of time, you've got the primitive humans that emerge from that. And they go to their caves and they do their strange rituals and you end up with things like SSH access. And you go to them and you ask them, takes a few weeks potentially, and eventually you get something. There's a lot of incantations and a lot of human sacrifices and stuff like that. But it's all good, right? Because that's where we all come from. And then over the time, we end up with things evolving into DevOps, which is now such a common word that nobody really stops to think about it. Was it around 2007-ish? All of a sudden, we're supposed to be agile and supposed to not have the walls and break the walls. And silo, all of a sudden, is a bad word. It's a swear word, and we don't want those, right? We're embracing automation, and we're trying to not treat each other as the other group of humans in the other case. And then things get even weirder. We get more paranoid. People in marketing get involved. They start sticking weird things into the different names, and we end up with things like DevSecOps, which is a good idea. Probably not the best name ever, and it's good to be a paranoid, right? Then things get even weirder. The Kubernetes era starts. That's where my life got really weird around 2016. We had great talk from Chris from CoreLogic yesterday explaining how you need 200 microservices and around 97 tools to actually manage them. And monolith all of a sudden is the worst thing you can describe a system as, and everybody needs to have microservices. We've got now, I don't know if it's still infamous or is it back into fashion, the CNCF landscape that obviously you can't read, and that's the point of it. You've got so many things that the cognitive load just increases. It gets, frankly, quite ridiculous, right? Everybody gets a microservice. And then we obviously don't stop at that. And we end up with weird terms like DevSec MLOps. And anybody seen DevSec MLOps? There you go, one guy. LLMOps? No? Any of this? And it's supposed to be AI-powered, obviously, and automated decision-making. And, there's probably a correlation between generative AI actually generating these descriptions, predictive analytics. I never really truly understood how they're different from just regular analytics, but I guess they're AI-ready and web-scale and that kind of stuff. And then it all kind of culminates in AIOps. Who here knows what AIOps is? Hands up. Okay, I've got half a hand. Yeah, is that a hand? Well, no, don't put that there. Okay, maybe one person. And I suspect that person is actually lying because when you try to, you actually go, sorry, I went way too far. I ended up with Elon. This is a little delayed. When you go and actually try to Google that thing, it turns out that nobody really does know, and it mainly seems to be on leaflets and marketing things. So the blue line, this is DevOps. I think the community bought into that in a way that's never going to go back. And I've got the two lines at the bottom. One of them, the yellow, that's AIOps. That seems to be surprisingly flat. MLOps is picking up a little bit. But the point here is that I don't think I'm the only one bad at Googling. I think we just haven't really figured out the AIOps. But back to my story, sorry. So we're here. And now we're getting at the reason why there are dinosaurs all over my face, because the next stage is obviously Triceratops. And this is the meme that started this entire presentation, and it's frankly quite amazing what you can get away with if you organize your own conference and they can't kick you out. So I recommend trying that. So this is the mythical final form of ops. It's immune to everything, it's the ultimate point of the evolution. The only thing killing that is a meteor, right? Supposedly. So if we sum it up and do a roadmap, because every presentation needs one, it ends up looking something like this, right? We've got the primordial ops, 50,000 BC, obviously. DevOps, I think around 2007-ish is right on the money. DevSecOps, 2012-ish, I think. MLOps, I think 2015 is where I started really seeing that stuff. And then 2016, like I said, that's where my life took a downturn. And I ended up doing more Kubernetes than I ever wanted or should be doing. And then I've got the little AI, but we're going to get to that. And the Triceratops, the final evolution, that's where we want to go. So what really, well, okay, obviously, sorry. So Mom, can I have a Triceratops is a real thing. By the way, I spent a lot of time on the mid-journey trying to get me a decent Triceratops. That was impossible a year ago. Now it's actually pretty good, so please do appreciate. I asked ChatGPT, and frankly, it didn't really know. He was trying to bullshit itself around it. What really is AI? And the only real thing that I see was that if you saw the keynote from Arjuna yesterday, she mentioned this meta-analysis. So this is leveraging AI for efficient incident response. There's a link there, you can find it. And the bottom line is that they found the 42% accuracy in identifying root causes for one of their web monorepo. Sorry, I know there's a monorepo guy there. I didn't mean to say there can be multiple. And the way they did it is actually interesting because they realized that you can't just throw raw data at the problem. So they've got all these changes, and then they've got a bunch of heuristics that are basically trying to narrow down the amount of data that they feed to an LLM agent. So you can already see that at this stage, in order to even get to that LLM, there's already a lot of tribal knowledge that is encoded into these heuristics. And yeah, they found that for training that, they managed to get to the 42% accuracy. And that's frankly the only real study that I managed to find on that. There's a lot of demos, there's a lot of promises in there, but it looks, frankly, quite self-driving. A lot of promises that keep on promising and haven't really arrived yet. So if you would like to prove me wrong about that, please do come and talk to me. But right now it looks like Ops is not really going to get your lunch quite yet, even though the fishing rod is conspicuously on the table yet. This was the first part of my presentation when I go on a random rant, and you have to listen to that. And then I also want to talk to you a little bit about SREday, because I've got sponsors and stuff. This is me. This is frankly the least bad photo that I could find last night. I've been an SRE for about a decade now. I spent most of that doing things in finance, building Kubernetes as a service. Been doing this since Kubernetes 1.2. Don't wish it on anybody. I'm also a host at Hockey Stick Show that I get a chance to plug, where I talk about weird stuff, like breakthroughs in tech. I've got guests talking about AI, I've got guests talking about cold plunges and how to increase your sports performance, quantum computing, and everything in between. You're part of the third edition of SREday, and I'm very thankful for that. And for everybody who's coming for the third time, thank you very much. Round of applause to you. I can't believe this is still happening, but yeah, we had 220 human bodies. Some of you refused to click the I'm not a robot thing, so I've got my doubts, but most of you, I think, are human. We had 2 days, 3 screens, 50 talks, and way too much networking. I lost my voice long ago, but I hope that you met some pretty amazing people. Obviously, without the number of pizzas, it would never be a full statistic. I also wanted to give a shout out to Mark, my brother and co-founder. If you haven't, there you go. If you haven't seen him walking around in a spacesuit, I don't know if you were really around, but yeah, it's his thing. When he's not organizing SREdays with me, he's organizing Com42, which are online conferences, 18 events, and lately Snowballing, where we help CTOs and startups build actual human developer communities using the events that we have. so that they can promote their stuff. I also want to give, oh my goodness, there you go. Special round of applause for the organizing team of SREday. This our little sister Sarah, right here, doing social media. Alexandra, is Alexandra here? Coming soon. Piotr, who came all the way from Warsaw, and Nasor, who came all the way from Scotland, which surprisingly took longer. If you're thinking right now, okay, so this is great, but I feel a little bit sad because this is finishing and I need more SREday in my life, fear not. Dear viewer, we've got things for you. So SREday Meetup is going to be a recurring occurrence roughly once a month, unless it's a holiday or we can't be bothered. It's happening in Canary Wharf, the inaugural one on October 24. It's free, it's in an afternoon around 6ish. So please do come in, and if you want to speak, we still have a few slots. SREday San Francisco, for anybody who flew in, is happening on November the 8th. We're going to be doing an announcement on Monday and setting up the website. We're still looking for speakers as well for that. And then if you like brownies and other things, SREday Amsterdam happens on November the 21st, and you are all invited. We're testing a new bar, a Pong bar this time, and it should be amazing. If this is still not enough and you still feel a little sad and empty inside, there are things brewing. I think I mentioned that at least 150 times yesterday to various people. SREday Tokyo is in the works. We were initially going to do it in January, but then we had to swap due to a conflict with another conference. It's going to be sometime mid-2025. Primary reason being because so many people want a reason to go to Japan, so we're going to give you one. SREday Singapore is also brewing. We'll be announcing things soon. For both of the events, we're looking for speakers and sponsors. And finally, SREday New York didn't happen this year because we didn't manage to find a venue. So if you happen to have an office, and your people work from home on Friday and just happens to be empty, we'll help you fill it in. It's going to feel great, it's going to feel homely, and it's going to be amazing. I want to give a shout out to our amazing sponsors, CoreLogic, the green guys, to Sidero. You heard from Justin, he probably saw his homegrown lab, and it looks amazing. Thank you, Sidero. Port as well, we've got Spacelift, RiverSafe, NetData. For anybody who enjoyed the speaker dinner last night, that was paid by Oxford Knight, so please do send them good vibes. And Run When. I think Kyle is probably running late, but do pass by and check Run When. And finally, Hockey Stick, that a few of you made it to the conference thanks to sponsored stickers, sponsored ticket. Also, Kubernetes user group, thank you for sending your people CubeSpaces. And if you're now wondering, how do I get involved myself? Also, if you're not, we've got things. You send me an email and we figure something out. It's going to be stuff. And the final thing, if you want to keep in touch, there are two best ways. We'll send you an email when we have the next event coming. But if you want to join our meetups and start coming to these events, that's the QR code on the left. It's meetup.com/pro/SRE. And we also got the WhatsApp group that if you haven't joined, feel free to join. Some of the speakers put their presentation there. All of the announcements go in there. And we're going to keep it in between events. So you're going to mingle with people in the other time zones. And with that, thank you so much. It was awesome to talk to so many of you. Frankly, I don't know if there's anybody I haven't at least shaken a hand of. And please come next year because it's been awesome. Thank you so much.